Welcome, everyone. This is Umair, and I am here with Lloyd. Say hi, Lloyd.
What's up, everybody?
Anyways, this is, you could say, our E3 special. All right, well, I guess I will start off with the obvious. The obvious being Nintendo had no showing.
You know, they had their private showing. I mean, they showed a bunch of games, a few games coming out for the Wii U. Most of their stuff was 3DS games, and that Muppet Show Nintendo Direct entirely way too kiddie thing. But you know, whatever.
Yeah, completely disappointed with the Star Fox showing. Completely. It looks like a mobile game done on HD.
Yeah, man, it's
I mean, it's rough. It's rough looking.
it is. I mean, it almost looks like a 3DS game, to be honest.
Yeah.
It does. But I mean, Platinum. I mean, they're starting to, it looks like, to farm their games out to other third-party developers. Platinum's making that, and I think another one of their games. But you know, the Nintendo show is just, they're not the big E3. They haven't had a big E3 showing in years, and they march to the beat of their own drummer. And
Yeah, I mean, shit though. Throw like a 5-second clip of Zelda out there just to kind of throw the audience a bone.
man,
You don't have shit.
they're supposed to talk about their new console, the NX, next year. I bet this game that they're making, the Zelda game, I bet it still comes out for the Wii U, but I bet it.
The developers confirm it's still for the Wii U exclusively. The NX has nothing to do with it. Yeah.
Exclusively, like they won't bring it to the new system also?
No. All right, well, I guess we can skip over Nintendo and start off with the first day one for the Xbox. Anything that stood out for you?
Tomb Raider looks cool. Luckily, it's only a timed exclusive, so I can get it on PS4. Now, let's not forget, while we're talking about Sony and Microsoft, that Fallout 4, Bethesda's conference on Sunday. Fallout 4 looks awesome.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised with that because Fallout 3, even though it was a huge hit and people were nutty about it, I got into it way too late, and graphically it was very limiting. Physics-wise, it was very limiting to me, so I didn't get the complete joy. I could see what people really liked about it, but I didn't get the complete kick out of it that I expected to. But 4 looks pretty rad. Let's go into some of the big releases that they talked about, starting off with, which I'm excited about, the new Mass Effect. The demo didn't show much, but the fact that Command & Shepard's not part of this either, but it's a brand new Mass Effect, and I'm really looking forward to see what they do with the new system's powers.
Yeah, you know, when I first saw Mass Effect back in, I guess that was 2006, when they first announced it or started showing video of it, I loved BioWare. So, and the first Mass Effect was true BioWare. It was more exploratory. You always wanted more. It felt more like an RPG. By the third Mass Effect, it had become an action game. I am curious still. Because, you know, I wish we had more space RPGs. So, you know, it's supposed to come out in the fall. No, I'm sorry, the winter of 2016. So we'll probably see a lot more of that E3 next year.
Yeah, there's a few games I skipped over as well, but there are a few games that kind of left an impression on me, and even though they're not in my scope of interest.
Like what?
2 of them kind of having a similar style is Gigantic and Battleborn. They're very cartoony, team-based combat kind of games.
Those are MOBA type games. Massive online battle arena like League of Legends or Dota, Defense of the Ancients.
Okay.
So I mean, I've never really been into those, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I was more intrigued by the cartoon art style and the character design on both those games. The characters are really, really cool looking, and the game engine is beautiful. The Division, of course, the game we've been talking about since the beginning. I was a little disappointed with the trailer because it was a story-based trailer. Of course, they want to tell you what the story is.
But you saw the gameplay, right?
I haven't seen that footage yet. I'm just saying.
Let me set the story for you. Then you're gonna see it later, but you're gonna go out and look for this after we talk about it. Because here's what they showed. Let me see if I can do this justice. Okay, so they showed a group of three people going out into the world fighting NPCs the same way they did last year, but this time 3 player characters rolled up on them. Now the first player characters, they were trying to figure out if the player characters were going to be enemies, but then enemy NPCs came in. The other 3 guys started fighting the enemies, so they joined them to fight the enemies, and then they rolled together doing different missions for a while. Well, then they decided they wanted to extract, and these guys decided to turn on the 3 characters, the other 3 player characters that they had just been fighting with for the past hour. So they turned on them, took their loot, and the extraction's about to occur, and then one of the original 3 shoots the other 2 and takes everybody's loot and makes the extraction.
So he just pretty much pulled the Dark Knight Joker on them.
Pretty much. So there's so many possibilities to that game.
That's the story that the trailer on The Division went on. Was in part of the trailer, she says, we don't know how many other what's the word she used to describe them?
It's like sleeper agents or whatever.
Yeah, how many there are, but we run into them frequently. And which is cool because they're kind of throwing in the chaotic world, because it's an apocalyptic world, post-apocalyptic world. They're kind of throwing that whole mentality, the psychology of The Walking Dead, because you never know who to trust. You can take them in, and you kind of just have to go with the flow and eventually build a trust, or they can turn on you at the last second.
Exactly.
And since you brought up the Wildlands, that was a surprise one for me.
It was the Watch Dogs of this year, but hopefully it'll be better than Watch Dogs when it comes out.
Oh man, that trailer was completely impressive. Very impressive with what Wildlands has to offer. And the premise is great, and the graphics are beautiful. And I'm really looking forward to see what happens with that.
Let's not forget about the PlayStation exclusive, that Horizon. I can't remember the subtitle, but that game came out of nowhere. I'm looking at that, and it's like, what is this?
Yeah. Horizon is definitely the other one where I was like, oh shit, this is amazing. The graphics are great on it. The premise is awesome.
Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, they could have just had me at Remake, you know, because I loved Final Fantasy VII, but they're going to redo the game, like redo the story, and they said it's not going to be exactly the same. They're going to be new scenarios and all this new stuff. It's not just going to be updated to HD graphics. They're not going to do that. They're redoing the whole thing. So I was like, yeah, I can do this. And that came out of nowhere because they've denied for years that they're ever going to do it. And now they're actually making it. Oh, and let's not forget Shenmue. PlayStation has Shenmue 3 coming to it.
Yes, to me, I don't give a shit about that game.
Oh, Shenmue went so hard, man. I played 1 and 2. I wanted the story. I wanted, Ryo needed to get his revenge on Lan Di, so now it is going to happen.
All right. I guess the other one was this game called ReCore.
That's an Xbox One and PC exclusive? Was it Xbox One and PC?
Yeah, Windows 10 exclusive.
You know what I love about all this Xbox One and PC exclusive stuff?
You can play it on
gaming PC.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about getting that on lame Xbox One.
Yeah. I'm intrigued by that. The reveal was definitely just a CGI cut. It wasn't a gameplay at all, which some of them did, and I'm glad a lot of showcases are moving away from just CGI cuts because I want to see what the game looks like. I don't care about the story presentation, the flashy animation.
Nope.
But the only reason I wanted to bring that up was it's a Metroid Prime team that's making this game, which is cool because Metroid Prime was a really rad game.
They're the ones making ReCore?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's whatever the team was for Metroid Prime. They started their own company, and they're developing this game. And I like there was a sentimental part of that trailer, and I think that's probably why they did that. She kept calling her little robotic dog Buddy, and I think a lot of people call their pets, cat or dog, Buddy. So it kind of connects with you off the bat, which was kind of cool because I call Francois Buddy as well. And the fact that it shows the orb, life orb, being transferable to other entities. So I think it'll be one of those things where you can take control of different things because of your life orb.
Right. I agree. That's what it looked like.
Game, the other one was, it's Xbox only, of course, is Gears of War 4. It looked great, but it didn't seem like a progress in the franchise. It just looked like a graphical upgrade for the game.
That's exactly, and that's my issue with the new Halo coming out. I mean, I'm sure there may be incremental improvements, but from what I've seen of the beta, of Halo 5, it's just like the same stuff. Gears, it looked pretty, but it looked like the same stuff.
Yeah, the gameplay mechanics, everything was the same. It didn't evolve at all into anything. It's the same kind of rut that Assassin's Creed is kind of stuck on.
Yeah.
And of course, the next one I want to bring up was Star Wars Battlefront. We saw a little more of the gameplay on that, and I'm going to say, as a guy who's not a huge Star Wars guy, it's not me hating on Star Wars, this being made by DICE too, so it's got the battlefield mechanics and everything of using all sorts of vehicles. It's really cool. You can pretty much use every single Star Wars vehicle or what a motorized entity with the crawlers and whatnot in this, which is kind of cool.
Oh yeah, I'm all over that, man. It takes the original thing that made me love Halo, besides the shooting, was the first time I hopped in a vehicle, especially, and I guess it was Halo 2, and they could get jacked out of one. Now, I haven't seen other games really let you jack people, but I love the vehicle component to multiplayer shooters. So yeah, that one, like I said, I think I said in a couple episodes back, I really like the way that game looks. I'm worried because of EA's making it that they're going to lock maps or something behind paywalls and separate.
Most definitely.
Yeah, but I mean, the game looks good.
And the other game that was getting a lot of attention, and I think it was more on the media side versus actual attention from the audience, was For Honor.
No, that did look cool to me, man.
Well, the clips they showed, I'm curious because I'm getting mixed messages from it. At a moment, it looked like a Dynasty Warriors type game where you're just slashing a sword with hordes of people coming at you. But then there were one-on-one combat things too. So I was thinking maybe it's like Shadows of Mordor.
I can actually explain it better, I think. Okay, so it's I think you can have 16 players on each team, or 8, something like that, right? And then you've got the NPCs, the non-player characters. Now, the NPC characters can be really easy to take out, but when you run into 2 players or 1 player, that's when it gets deep. Because it's like, then you use one stick to move and another one to strike. And You remember Bushido Blade, how you can have certain moves that'll take somebody out quick if they don't block it? Do you remember Bushido Blade? It's supposed to be kind of like that, but the player-to-player fights can be long, they can be quick, but that's where the difficulty is going to come in. And you can also have, like, it's knights versus Vikings versus samurai, and they're not worried about, you know, history. They just set up these different large-scale fights and have the different armies trying to beat them. So it actually, from the stuff I saw, it looked really interesting to me.
Yeah, graphically it looked intriguing too. So it's one of those games that's why I mentioned it, because it's something I'm kind of interested to see what happens with it.
Right.
Also, I loved the first one, and it was kind of a hit or miss game for a lot of people. Was Mirror's Edge, and they announced Mirror's Edge Catalyst, and I thought this looked awesome. What's interesting is in the first one, you had the option to do parkour, a hand-to-hand combat, or you could use a gun. The developer said you won't be able to use a gun in this.
Yeah, I read that too.
So that definitely is a very, very interesting take on it. And I'm kind of really interested to see how the next-gen versions of this come out.
They didn't show a lot of it at E3, but kind of before E3, and I've seen some video. The new Deus Ex game.
I was going to bring that one up, yeah.
I'm really interested in that. I love the first one. I've liked almost every Deus Ex I've played. Therefore, yes, admittedly, the first one I feel like was a bit more open, deeper. You know, the old Ion Storm one, but I want to see what they do with the new one. But Hitman. They're unleashing another Hitman game upon the masses. I'm hyped about that. It's supposed to be open world. And you're supposed to have, like, they're going to release new contracts in addition to the base game over a period of time. And some of these contracts are timed. So if you don't get to these targets within a certain period of time, you know, you may not see them again. I'm all for an open world Hitman game. Figure out how I'm going to get in to assassinate. I've been like that ever since.
I do enjoy Hitman games, but I was kind of peeved they just showed a CGI trailer on this. And they showed no gameplay trailer on that, because I would love to see how they utilize the current gen's power to combat with Hitman. The other one, it's probably my favorite thing, is Uncharted 4. And I saw that whole 7-minute trailer 3 times already. It's a gameplay trailer. And the second time I had to show Lauren, my girlfriend, and her not being aware of the Uncharted series, she was like, I kind of want to watch somebody just play this. It's like a movie. It's so impressive. It's so impressive. Like, graphically, you've seen the 7-minute trailer, right?
Yeah.
The coolest part is he's walking through the crowd, and if they walk in his way, because it's not like a pre-programmed flow of the crowd traffic, he interacts with people specifically to how he encounters them to kind of push them away, and the dialogue that comes like, hey, watch it, buddy, or something like that. I thought that was really cool. And on top of that, when the destructible environments that they threw in to make it really, really movie-like, the dialogue, that's what Uncharted's always been perfect at, is the banter that goes on in an action sequence. And it really just felt like a blockbuster movie. And I was like, oh, I'm so fucking excited about this game.
Uncharted's always felt like a blockbuster movie series. And you heard me say this. The first one didn't grab me strong, but the second one, I could not put down the second one. I could not put it down. Like, I was up way too late playing that game.
That is still my favorite game, the second one.
Yeah, the second one, I like the third one next, but the third one didn't beat the second one.
Yeah, because it didn't break any grounds on how improved the second one was, because the second one set the bar on graphical bar and the physics and how the character actually interacted with the surroundings, with its environments. And this one, in 4, it seems like they're just taking it to the next level of just interactivity with your surroundings.
It was the set piece moments, I believe, in the second one, and it had the most perfect pacing, and it was just an all around great game. I was surprised that the second one is what made me become a fan of the Uncharted series, because I got it late, because I got the first one, you know, because of all the hype, and then I just thought the first one was just okay. I didn't really care. But the second one, I got it, you know, all the reviews were like 10s. It was like, all right, I'll try this. I started it up.
Amazing.
Didn't stop.
Yeah.
You know, I needed to give me like a new experience. That's the reason you play video games. You want that new experience.
I want that new experience.
Oh, also, before we get off, another game that you probably weren't into, XCOM 2, man.
Yeah, I that was like Deus Ex for me, where well, I have played Deus Ex. I've never played XCOM game, and so I don't know what that is. I don't know what it brings to the table, because it was just another CGI trailer again.
There's plenty of gameplay on the original, on XCOM 1 and on XCOM 2. I was watching the gameplay video, and it takes the strategy. It's a strategy RPG first off, but it's the level of interactivity on the battlefield and off the battlefield that makes that game special. And that game is, yeah, it's right at the top of my list. That's out this November, so that'll be really good.
So what did you come away with, like, as your standouts, your three standouts?
My three, if I have to lock it down to three.
Yeah.
If it's my top three, it's Horizon, The Division, and the surprise of Ghost Recon Wildlands. Those are my top three.
Cool. Yeah, mine's Wildlands, Horizon, and Uncharted. Even though Uncharted wasn't anything new, it just, the excitement to me, I was just like, oh shit.
Well, now that you have a PS4, you know the multiplayer suite comes with it.
Next week, my friend.
So once you get Uncharted, I'll get Uncharted, and I'll introduce you to Uncharted's multiplayer, which surprisingly is a lot of fun.
Uncharted's multiplayer is good. I used to play it on Uncharted 3. It's actually really fun. I haven't done Last of Us multiplayer. That's the one.
Yeah, I have a coupon code that my friend redeemed last week for the game for $12. And I had actually used that coupon like back in March, so I didn't think it still worked, but he used it and downloaded it. So if you're interested in playing the multiplayer.
Hold up, so you have to pay for the multiplayer?
No, that was for the whole game, for Last of Us Remastered, and the multiplayer.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I mean, if you're interested, $12 is not a high price to pay.
It's too expensive, man. All right. Well, that's all I have. So I'll talk to you Friday about this.
All right, dude.
All right, man. Take it easy.